Okay, so last night I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with a group of some of my friends. And I have had Florence and the Machines, The Dog Days Are Over, stuck in my head all night last night and all fucking day today. And I feel like it's probably going to be in there for a while longer. Because of one particular scene from the movie, which of course we'll talk about later. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But before we go into that, what I like to do when I'm talking about a movie that's still in theaters is divide the video into three sections. The first section is no spoilers. These are my thoughts on... No, sorry. As the name would suggest, these are my thoughts on the parts of the movie that I'm not spoiling. Like, what did I think of the acting? Did I think the humor was funny? Did I like it overall? What's the basic plot? What are kind of the main motivations of the characters? Stuff like that. Then we go on to mild spoilers, which is like, this is when we get into... Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm still feeling my lunch. This is when we get into different set pieces in the movie that either aren't part of the climax or don't really spoil a lot of shit. In this movie, there's only really one that I feel like I can talk about that's a mild spoiler, because a lot of the movie I feel like is kind of full spoilers, where it's either here is a twist, here's a character death, or here's like something really fucking notable happens that I feel like I should save. So with all that out of the way, starting with the no spoilers, I loved it. I really, truly, sincerely loved it. I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I have actually seen all three of them in theaters. And every time I do, I don't want to be like every time I do, like, oh yeah, I've seen the first one like 6 times in theaters or anything like that. I believe I've seen every movie one time. But I have a really good time. I think these movies are really funny. I like all the... Like, I like space shit. I like seeing spaceships. I like seeing gunfights. I like seeing gravity boots. So, like, the fun tech I enjoy. Dave Bautista as Drax brings me never-ending pleasure. Just watching highlights of Drax doing or saying dumb shit never fails to put a smile on my face, and he does everything he's supposed to do in this movie. I think literally every time Drax opened his mouth, the theater was laughing. Now, definitely some jokes are better than others with him, but it's the shit he says. It's the delivery. It's that just deadpan look in his eye of, I can't wear this. It doesn't match my, like, it's not my color. It doesn't bring out my eyes. It's incredible. There's a scene, I mean, I guess this is like mild spoilers, I'm spoiling jokes, I'm sorry. But this is so minor, I think it's fair game. It's a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, of course I'm going to talk about some of the jokes. There's a part where he's eating, I don't remember what it was, but it was like a bag of chips, essentially. He's eating a bag of chips with Star-Lord and Mantis. He offers some to Star-Lord, and he's like, no, I'm good. Drax just keeps eating them, and then Mantis at one point just kind of blows up on both of them. She's like, maybe I wanted some chips too, but you didn't offer any to me. And Drax is like, oh, I'm sorry, there's no more. Just the fucking loudest crunch of all time. It's perfect. Drax is my favorite character. Is he the most deep or emotionally complex? No, not even close. But he's so consistently funny. Like, for me, it's like, it can't be anybody besides Drax. But even though this is a movie with Drax, and this is a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I think it's hysterical, it still has a very somber tone throughout, and that's definitely something to keep in mind while going in. I'll talk about, like, the first scene of the movie in no spoilers, because it's literally how the movie starts. I think talking about the first 15, 20 minutes is kind of fair game, but if that's not something you're interested in, like, we're gonna spoil that, so I'll give you a quick countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in the first movie, the first song sequence is "Come and Get Your Love," as Star-Lord is, fighting aliens and, like, kicking... They were, like, worms or, like, little weasel things? I don't quite remember. But, he's dancing and fighting aliens. It's a really fun scene. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mr. Blue Sky is playing as they're fighting this giant fucking worm, and Groot's just dancing and vibing the entire time. It's fun. The first song in Guardians 3 is Creep, and it's an acoustic version, just to really get into, the somber tone, as Rocket is, it's like playing on a loudspeaker, I think. I don't think he actually had it. I don't think he was using headphones. Maybe he was. But I think he was playing on a loudspeaker, and he's just kind of walking around the town and, the settlement. And it's not like the settlement's being, fucked up or anything. Everyone's just kind of chilling, working on stuff. And he's just going, before I look you in the eye. Just, singing in and out as he's going. I'm like, oh, this isn't like this aggressively miserable scene until you get to Star-Lord where he's drunk off his ass, and the implication is he's been drinking a lot since, we lost Gamora in Infinity War. Spoilers for Infinity War and Endgame. Again, I think that is very fair game. If I've misjudged that, I do apologize. But, this is a lot less fun and energetic of a start that I'm used to from these movies. I'm okay. It's an interesting choice. And then not long after the scene is done, we get our first action scene of the movie, which I will be honest is the only one I didn't really like. For most of the others, I thought the pacing of the scene feels good, the cinematography of the scene feels good. Something about the first scene, it's like when people are getting thrown around, I didn't really feel the weight of it. I thought something about it was just off and kind of jank. But as the introduction of Adam Warlock, he is something I feel like I do need to go ahead and say, a quick pin in what I was about to talk about, is I am not very familiar with Marvel Comics, the actual comic source material themselves. I'm aware of, different TV shows, I'm aware of the MCU. So, if this is not what Adam Warlock is like in the comics, and from what I understand, this is very much not what he is like in the comics, I am not a good judge of that. So if someone is like, dude, I love the character of Adam Warlock, and they did a terrible job with him, I understand that. But since I don't have that connection with the source material, I'm only judging what I saw on screen. So continuing that, I thought this dude was funny as hell, because he is about as dumb as Drax. And I won't get into anything specific with him until maybe a little later. But I just found him so consistently funny. He was just kind of like a dumb jock. And not the super asshole kind of dumb jock. He's just it's kind of a meathead. And it was just funny to me. But he nearly fucking kills Rocket Raccoon in the first, again, 15, 20 minutes of the movie. So what the plot of Guardians 3 is, it's, holy shit, Rocket is on his deathbed, and we need to save him. But since he was, we can't just put, a medical pack on him to heal his wound, because he has a kill switch embedded in his body, because he was, someone's really important property. So now we gotta go find the records on Rocket, so we can learn how to bypass the kill switch, so we can save our friend's life. And that is the plot of the movie. Again, it's not man, this is a really fun adventure movie. It's, we are racing against the clock, or our friend is going to fucking die. Meanwhile, while Rocket is in a coma, you start having flashbacks of you start getting, let me try that again. You start seeing his flashbacks of his life. And it's not fun. It's not pleasant. And I won't say in this part, what exactly happens, but within the first couple scenes, you can kind of figure it out. But you do meet the main antagonist of the movie, the High Evolutionary, he's a guy who's playing God. He's doing a lot of, which is something that he gets accused of. He's I'm not trying to play God. I'm just trying to create a better universe, a more perfect universe, etc., etc. But he's playing God. He is doing genetic experiments on animals. He did a lot on Rocket. He did, Rocket had 3 other friends. There was an otter named Lila, a bunny named Floor, and a walrus named Teefs. I believe it's like Teefs. And on top of them, he was doing experiments on other animals and then like trying to make better people and like human-like people to make a more, again, like a better world without, basically like without all the shit that humans deal with, but also people who are just like more intelligent and more peaceful, etc., etc. And what I like about this character a lot is he essentially has two modes. Mode number one is, I am playing God, I know what's going on, and these are my creations, and I am in control of them. And when everything goes my way, I am calm, I am relaxed. His other mode is his delusion of grandeur is crumbling, and he's just losing his shit. And his volume will go from, I'm talking like this, to, wah! Like, he will just be fucking screaming. Like, what is Rocket? Like, Rocket's designation, I believe it's 89P13 was essentially his name when he was with the High Evolution. Like, 89P13! Like, he's just screaming this name throughout the entire movie. And he just has this obsession with Rocket because of part of the backstory. I guess this is more of a mild spoiler thing. I'll put a quick pin in that because it's mild enough. But let me see if there was anything else in the no spoilers that I did want to talk about. Oh, I would say Star-Lord's thing in the movie. I feel like this is also something that's it happens really fucking early is when it's established, so I don't think it's even a mild spoiler. He is trying to still work out his relationship with Gamora. She is not one of the Guardians. She is with the Ravagers. But there is still that, at least with him, not with her, because she's like, I don't fucking know you, dude. The person you knew and the person that I am are different people. And him having a lot of trouble with it. He's like, this is someone that I loved and someone that I lost. And she's not the only person in my life that I've lost. I lost my mom. I lost Yondu. I lost Gamora. And I might lose Rocket too. I'm about to lose my best friend. And then Drax will just go, second best friend. But it's something that he's struggling with throughout the entire movie. And it's not like, oh man, it's leading him to make all these like terrible, irrational decisions. But he is notably more on edge, I feel, in Guardians 3 than he is in 1 or 2. There might have been something else I was going to... oh, yeah. There's also a lot of scenes with him essentially trying to be like, Gamora, we used to be a thing, so we should still be a thing. And her going, dude, I don't know you. Please stop. And there's times where they're kind of endearing, and then there's a lot of times where they're kind of annoying. Often they're kind of both at the same time. And thankfully, like, the entire cast will call out that, especially Nebula. Nebula is so fucking good, man. She is by far, like, the most competent member of the team. Like, I guess that's kind of, like, the vibe I get from her is, here's the really competent person who is just surrounded by idiots. But they're her idiots. She loves these people. Like, there is a scene between her and Gamora where she's like, you're my sister? This is from Gamora's perspective. Like, you're my sister, and yet you're willing to, like, sacrifice my life and the lives of these other people for this half-dead badger, to which Nebula essentially says, that half-dead badger has done so much for me and so much for the other people here that he's part of my family, too. You need to step off and fuck off. And I love it. I think Mantis... Mantis has a nice little arc throughout the movie of, I don't feel like people are really listening to me. I don't feel like I really get the respect I deserve. And there's moments where you're like, yeah, they probably should listen to her more. And then there's other things that are like, okay, you're kind of just like Drax's, I don't want to say Droog or his Goom, but I was like, you're Bulk and Skull. And there's like, Nebula even says at one point, like, no, you're kind of just as bad as he is. Drax is a moron. But you know he's a moron. He's going to do something stupid. You're the smart one of your duo, and you still get roped into his shenanigans. How? Like, this is why, we can't always trust you because you do shit like this. Like, you kind of get both sides. And then there's Groot, who's just, I am Groot. He's kind of just the most well put together out of anyone in the team, which I will definitely make a point of that when we get to, like, talking about the end. But I fucking love Groot. Like I said, I really like this crew. Aside from that, I don't really have anything else to... Oh, wait. Hold up. There was some shit on the other side, too. Yeah. That's really all I can say in the no spoiler sections. Now I'll get into mild spoilers, so let me take that pin back out. The reason the High Evolutionary is so obsessed with Rocket Raccoon, it's not really super spoilery, but I might as well leave it. Yeah. Is because he was having a lot of trouble with his calculations. And figuring out, like, I am trying to make animals, go through evolution a lot faster so I can make them more like humanoids so we can start, like, repopulating and making a brand new world and shit. But there's these violent tendencies, and I'm trying to erase that, and I just can't get it to work. And then little baby Rocket's like, well, I mean, why didn't you try this? If you do that, and that, you'd probably figure it out. It would work fine. Huh. Let's try that. And then they try it, and it works. And the High Evolutionary, who again is playing God, these are his creations, gets really, really upset that this inferior being that he created and he feels this sense, like, great sense of superiority over, came up with a solution that he was unable to. And the obsession is a combination of, okay, 89P13 is really fucking smart. And of all the creations I've made, even the ones I keep making, he is the smartest. There's one moment where he's talking to one of his goons. He's like, all these, like, the beings we have now, the shit they're able to do, like, the calculations they can come up with, they can do in the blink of an eye. But they didn't invent those calculations. They didn't invent those formulas. It's root memorization. I think that's kind of how he pronounced it. I really like the way he pronounced words. It was great. He's like, they are really good at memorizing and applying shit, but not thinking of new ways to do something, not thinking outside the box. That's what 89P13 could do. That's why I need his brain. And I want to essentially use that brain in these other creatures so I have perfect, peaceful creatures who are also fucking smart. Excuse me. Well, on top of that, there seems to also be this, like, inferiority complex that threatens his god complex that makes him so obsessed with Rocket Raccoon. And I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy that. Like, there is a scene later where, he's talking to Star-Lord, but he's like, I want to create a better... And Star-Lord's like, shut the fuck up. Dude, I don't care. You are threatening my friend's life, so I don't care about any of the shit you are trying to do. I'm just here to save my friend. But if I had a fucking nickel for every time someone's been like, humanity needs to be purged, or I can make a better world, dude, I wouldn't need to steal shit anymore. I'd be so fucking rich. I don't care. Stop. But it is, to me, it is that god complex that is crumbling around him and his desperation to keep the illusion going that made me I don't want to say like this character because he's a piece of shit. Fuck this guy. But did make me like the character. It made me invested. It's like, yeah, I want to see his downfall. I want to see everything crumble around him. Oh, that's going to be delicious. The other scene to talk about in mild spoilers is... I don't remember what it was called. It was called, like, Orgo Core or Orgoth Core something, but it's the High Evolutionaries, like, his corporation that funds all his experiments and shit. And the headquarters is this giant, like... I almost said Ferris wheel. That's not what I was trying to go for. Like a steering wheel. Like this giant steering wheel made of flesh with all these eyes. And all I could think of is, did James Gunn fucking play Song of Saya? And he's like, bet, I am going to create, like, because you never see what the monsters in Saya really look like. But this is kind of what I imagine they look like. It's like, all right, I'm going to make a giant one in space, and I'm going to make it a level. I'm sold. I'm terrified, but I'm sold. So when they go into this, so this is when Gamora gets into the movie because she helps them onto the base, and, you know, because they have to go through space for a little bit. They're wearing these spacesuits, all with different colors. And I know a lot of people saw they're like, oh my god, they're in a bunch of different colored spacesuits. This is some Among Us shit. I didn't even think of Among Us. I thought of like fucking Teletubby. So like, I remember at one point just kind of looking at Jose and being like, why the fuck are they dressed in like Teletubby clothes? Which does lead to, I think, one of the funniest scenes of the movie, where Star-Lord opens a comm channel to just him and Gamora to, you know, to kind of plead his case. But he fucked it up, and it was the open comm channel, and then the other three, who at that point are Drax, Mantis, and Nebula, are like, dude, we can hear everything. Just stop. What do you mean you can hear everything? I hit the blue button to link to her suit, because it's the blue suit. No, the blue suit's the open channel. Well, how do I get to that suit? Well, you have to hit this button, like, you have to hit the red one, and Drax like, no, you have to hit the green one for blue, because the yellow one goes to yellow, and the red one goes to orange. Like, it's one of those bits that I can easily see someone going, this is not funny, just stop. And I'm just there going, I think this is so fucking funny. It's just dumb. And what sells it is Drax's line at the end. It's like, how the fuck did you guys even figure that out? It was just intuitive. That got a big laugh out of the theater, and it got a big laugh from me. It was great. Also, Nathan Fillion is in this section of the movie. He's not in the rest of the movie because he just works here at the Saya steering wheel. But I love Nathan Fillion, so just every time he was on screen, it was just fucking gold. But it was like kind of like the action scenes here are pretty fun. I did enjoy them. It's not like the best scene in the movie by any scene or by any stretch, but I mean, to me, the best scene in the movie is just the end. But I liked it a lot. It's a good fucking time. So now I feel like, let me actually check. Did I have anything else I really wanted to say about that scene? No, I just have Teletubby suits written down. They don't even look like Teletubbies, but I saw just all the fucking colors. I was like, oh, all right. This is where my brain is going, I guess. But now we will transition into full spoilers. So I will give another countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now I will spoil anything in the movie. Which part do I talk about first? Go. Okay, so I guess the first thing to talk about is how in Rocket Raccoon's backstory, all his friends fucking died. Which is one of those where as you're watching the movie, you can see where it's going. They were not meant for the new world. They were just, as the High Ev even says, he's like, you are but stepping stones on my path. Like, you're such an inferior being. Did you really think I would let you into the new world? And there's maybe an argument to be made that they could have been to the new world, but after Rocket outsmarted him at that point, like, it was just kind of a matter of principle that he would make them all die. But I feel like it was probably his thing from the get-go. It's like, no, like, yeah, they are just steps on the path. But Rocket is able to escape because he's really fucking smart. He fucks up the dude's face because he's a damn raccoon. Excuse me. But his friends do all die, and he does escape without them. They do save Rocket's life. I don't, like, I have to put it in the full spoilers, because it is, like, the plot of the movie is saving Rocket, which is what happens, like, at the end of the second act, really start of the third act. But, I mean, did you really think they were gonna, if you thought they were gonna kill Rocket Raccoon, it would probably be more in the climax of the movie, rather than before he even gets to confront the High Evolutionary. But it does lead to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which is when Rocket's awake and he's up, and he just gets hugged by Star-Lord and Groot. I don't even think they said anything, like, they just hugged him. And it was really fucking sweet. And even Gamora, who's been, like, just kind of a pain in the ass throughout the movies, like, this is, like, she doesn't really say anything either, like, this is touching, I'm gonna let them have this. But, the High Evolutionary has his own planet. It is called Counter-Earth, which is just Earth 2.0 in almost every conceivable way, but all the people are animal people hybrids. It's like, oh, this is a panda that's just like on two legs. This is like a goat lady that's just kind of on two legs. You've probably seen the scene in the trailer where a little girl like throws a ball at Drax, and he just pegs her with it, which is funny as fuck. I love that shit. That's Counter Earth. And they can't really understand the people there, but yeah, they're still kind of able to communicate. There's this comedy bit about Drax sitting on the couch and laying down and how it's really rude. Again, it's one of those where I can easily see someone going, why is this a bit? This could maybe just be a joke. This is not funny. And there I am just fucking giggling like a moron. There's also another part in the trailer where Nebula's trying to open a car door, which does lead to Star-Lord just dropping an F-bomb. Then you open the fucking door! Also got a big laugh out of the theater. I had a really good time with that scene. But once they confront the High Evolutionary on Counter Earth, like the party ends up being split. Because Star-Lord's essentially like, dude, you're trying to make a perfect world, a more better whatever the fuck. And let's be honest, I don't fucking care. But even me not giving a shit can see that it's not working. Like, I saw a fucking octopus dude in the slums selling meth to a couple teenage cockroaches. You haven't made a better world. To which the High Ev says, you're right. And I've taken notice. Because as their creator, I have the authority and the right to destroy them at any time. And since they haven't met my expectations, I will do that. I will raise this world and make a new one. So the planet fucking blows up, which leads to... Yeah, so there's a set piece where they're trying to escape an exploding planet, like Goku trying to get off Namek. And it's fucking cool. Like, this is a fun scene of people, like, hopping between different spaceships. Star-Lord kicks the dude out a window, jumps out the window. Groot jumps out the window, grows tree fucking wings, and glides down so he and Star-Lord can survive. But the ball, like, kills the other dude. This is a fun scene. But also just not a fun scene, because a lot of fucking people die. And they seemed like just nice, normal people who didn't deserve this. And if you didn't think the High Evolutionary was just a massive piece of shit before this, there's no coming back from this. Like, this isn't even a, like Rocket Raccoon insulted my intelligence. Like, he dared defy and go above his creator. He needs to learn his place. This is just, no, they're not good enough, so gone. Funny enough, the night before, so this would have been Saturday night, Clay and I were watching that scene from The Mysterious Stranger, I believe it's called The Adventures of Mark Twain, and they're adapting The Mysterious Stranger, but it's that really creepy stop motion thing where Huck Finn, Tom Sawyer, and Becky Thatcher are talking to an angel who identifies himself as Satan, and they make a little stop-motion world, and then he's like, we can make a storm next, an earthquake, if you'd like. And they just fucking, massacre all the people, and the three kids are like, you're a fucking evil, you're an irredeemable monster. Wow, what took you so long, idiot? Sorry, it popped in my head, I had to quote it. But regardless, they're like, you're a murderer, you're an awful person. He's like, yeah, but we can always make more if we need to. That's exactly what the High Evolutionary is. He's fucking awful. And again, I kind of love how awful he is and how his goons just get to a point where they're like, this guy's nuts. Like, we agreed with him for a while, like his perfect world, and it's become clear to us that he is a psychopath who is just fucking obsessed with this damn raccoon. This is not worth it, dude. Which then leads to, the climax of so throughout the movie, Adam Warlock is also hunting Rocket Raccoon because he's one of the Sovereigns, which are the gold people from the second movie. I don't remember if they were in the first movie as well, but at least from the second movie. And they were a species created by the High Evolutionary, so he has that power over them and can snap his fingers and, destroy them. So he wants to prove their worth by bringing him the High Ev, the raccoon. But then his mom ends up exploding on the dying planet. So he ends up getting saved by the Guardians and just kind of becomes a joke for a bit. But it is important that he is there and he is on the ship for the climax. So the climax essentially starts with Nebula, Drax, and Mantis being thrown into a Rancor pit and Mantis taming the Rancors. Once all the group gets together, they're like, all right, what are we gonna do? We got Rocket, we're safe. Do we just want to leave or do we want to fuck with this dude? And Rocket's like, I'm tired of running. Let's fuck with this dude. The song that starts playing is No Sleep Till Brooklyn by the Beastie Boys, which is a song I like quite a bit. So the climax really starts with this fight scene where the entire song plays and they're just in a corridor kicking ass and everyone gets to do cool shit. Mantis is fucking drop kicking and roundhousing people. Star-Lord's just throwing little mines that are also tasers. I think Gamora stabbed a dude a couple times. Drax is throwing people around. Groot fucking put his tree fingers into a monster and made it explode. Oh, also during the fucking scene on the exploding planet, Groot just takes out a bunch of grenades and guns from inside himself. So you got Star-Lord dual wielding, and then you've got fucking Groot octo wielding guns. They're like, fuck, this is cool. It's kind of stupid because there's a giant tree man wielding 8 guns. But it's my kind. It's the I don't even say it's stupid. It's just really fun creativity. All right, how do we do something cool to make Groot badass as hell? He was just hiding the guns in him the entire time, and then he's just packing heat. Bet, let's do it. I love it. I know there's other shit I need to talk about in the climax. I want to see if I missed anything else first. Let me look at my notes. Oh, okay, there is this recurring joke how the High Evolutionary has set a trap for them. Okay, so our plans just go into the trap? That's fucking stupid. And Star-Lord's thing is it's not a trap if we go in knowing it's a trap. At that point, it becomes a face-off. And it's a recurring thing of it's a trap. No, it's a face-off! So during the final fight with the High Evolutionary, everyone gets a shot in kicking his ass. It kind of felt like a D&D party and the DM going, okay, how do you want to do this? And all the players looking at each other be like, okay, so I do this. Okay, then I do this. Like a fucking giant WWE match where everyone is tagging in to get in one last hit. At the end, the dude's face gets ripped off. And I didn't even think about it, but my buddy kind of texted me earlier. He's like, yeah, throughout the movie, they keep talking about a face-off and they end up ripping his face off. I was like, I didn't even think of that. That's fucking hilarious. Rocket does not kill him. He's like, I'm a Guardian of the Galaxy. I can't just execute this dude. But they kind of pull a Batman where I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either. Your ship's exploding. Bye. And I did enjoy that. As they are all escaping the ship, with it's all of them, all of the High Evolutionaries, all of his creation. So you've got all the animals he has not yet experimented on, all the animals that he has, his new race, which is just a bunch of children that respond very well to Drax. Because if you remember in the first movie, his thing was, I lost my wife and daughter, so he is still a dad. He knows how to relate to children, and there's a scene where he's like, let me communicate with them. My daughter used to like it when I made monkey noises. So he starts making these fucking weird robot noises, beep, boop, 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 beep, bop, bop, boop, boop, and then bops Nebula and Mantis on the head this. In what world is this a monkey noise? I don't know, but it's working. And then he communicates with the kids who are speaking a different language and they leave. Drax, why didn't you tell me you could speak their language? Why didn't you ask? Just classic Drax. But everyone is escaping. Everyone gets off. Star-Lord drops his iPod, so he has to run back, grab his iPod, configures some shit so he can jump between the ships while they're... So they had a psychic thing going on, which was allowing them to transfer between ships without needing separate airships or spacesuits. But he jumps into the vacuum of space without a spacesuit, and he isn't able to quite make it. So his face starts expanding and he starts freezing. And then Adam Warlock, who had been saved by Groot earlier, and he's like, why did you save me? I am Groot. To which Drax says, he says everyone deserves a second chance. Which, real quick, before I forget, there's another recurring joke in the movie where whenever Groot says, I am Groot, everyone can understand him except Gamora because she's not really part of the team anymore. Like, this is a different Gamora. And there's just one that it's, I am Groot. I agree with that. With what? That he's Groot? I really like that. By the end of the movie, she can understand Groot fine, yada, yada. But regardless, so Adam Warlock flies into the vacuum of space, and with the way it's shot, he essentially just recreates the creation of Adam picture with Star-Lord with his fat fucking frozen face. And then, he brings Star-Lord back into the ship. He's fine. We're using Total Recall rules where you can be exposed to space and be clearly fucking dead but be fine. I'm not gonna be mad at it because that scene in Image was really funny to me. The ship explodes. I think we did see it explode. So the High Ev is dead. They return back to their world, to their planet. They hold a group powwow. And in the group powwow, Star-Lord says, I'm going to leave the Guardians of the Galaxy. Another plot point throughout the movie, it's only brought up a few times, but is how Star-Lord never really went back home to Earth. Now, actually, yeah, he was there during, the climax of Endgame and shit. But aside from that, no. He never went to go see his grandpa. He never... Because as they kind of talk about, Quill, you lost your mom, but your grandpa also lost his daughter. Now, if he was, being an asshole to you, that's no excuse, but he was hurting too, and, maybe if he's still alive, you still have family you can connect with. You keep talking about how there's so many people you've lost, but this is someone you've lost that's on you, and that maybe you can fix that. Maybe there's a bridge you can mend. And he decides that, okay, I'm done running away from home. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to see if I can reconnect with my family. And he makes it clear, he's like, this is not a, forever, I'm done, I hope to never see you assholes again. But it's I feel like there is some shit that I need to take care of. So I'm going to go do that. And the Mantis speaks up and says, I'm going to leave too. All my life I just did whatever the fuck ego told me. And then I joined you guys and just kind of did whatever you guys told me. I don't do things because I want to do them. I don't really know what Mantis wants. So I want to go figure that out. And Drax is like, cool, I'll go with you. I'll make sure that you're protected. You're my friend. And she's like, no, I need to do this by myself. And then Nebula steps in. She's like, no, Drax, I need you here. Because we have all these fucking kids now that we don't know what to do with. But you can speak their language. You can connect to them. You know what your role is, Drax? You're a dad. And it's so fucking sweet. I love it. And Nebula's like, I want to stay and really try to make this community something that can prosper. I feel like I can be a good leader. So I want to do that. Gamora, she's not one of the Guardians anymore. She's one of the Ravagers. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go back with them because those are my people now. All right, you guys are cool, but that is my new family. Which at that point just leaves Rocket and Groot. It's not like everyone's leaving immediately. They're just kind of talking, and Rocket's like, well, what the fuck does that leave for me? To which Star-Lord says, well, that makes you the new leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain. And everyone does the little salute to Rocket, and it's sweet as fuck. Quill gives him the iPod. He's like, this is yours now. Do what you want with it. And Rocket's going through the music, and he goes through the songs from the 2000s, and he clicks one. And it is The Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine. And it starts playing on the loudspeakers. And everyone's just feeling kind of somber, and Rocket's just sitting there on a stoop, just I don't want to say sulking, but it's just like, man, this like fucking hit me hard. Okay. And like Mantis is getting ready to leave. Drax is with the kids. Nebula's with some people. Star-Lord's, kind of packing his shit ready to go. As the music is playing and the song is going, there's a point where Groot just starts feeling it. Also, something I forgot to say is there's a part where Groot says something other than "I am Groot." He says, "I love you guys." And it's just Vin Diesel. Like, everything else sounds like Groot talking. That was just a Vin Diesel line. And it felt a little weird. I dug it, but it was a little odd. But Groot starts dancing. Like, he's starting to be like, yeah, I'm digging it. I'm getting into the song. And to me, the only person that could have started dancing was Groot. Because like I said earlier, Groot is the one who is the most, like, put together emotionally. The most okay member of the team. This song has been stuck in my head. I think I said this earlier. If I didn't, then I didn't. It's been stuck in my head since I watched the movie and all day today. And listening to it more and thinking about that scene more, it feels like a perfect fucking song. Because it's a song about finding happiness and running towards it. Going with all you have and leaving all of your baggage behind. Everything that will slow you down. And Groot, being the most well put together, I feel like is the one that would realize that first. Both, this is the song that's playing, and also, this is the moment we're living in. This is not we got into a big fight and everyone's going their separate ways because we hate each other. It's, everyone has found what they need to live a fulfilling life and be happy. So in this moment, while we're all still together, let's just have a fucking good time. Let's dance to a good fucking song and not say our goodbyes. Because fuck that shit. We'll see each other sometime later anyways. Let's just smile. So he's dancing, and then like everyone else starts seeing him dance, and they're starting to get into it as the song's really going, and Drax is dancing with the kid, and the Rocket's like moving down the stoop, and he and Groot are basically doing the dance that fucking Shrek and Fiona do at the end of Shrek 2 with like everyone around them. And then as the song is still playing, you get Star-Lord going home and seeing his grandpa, and I didn't cry during the movie, but I got close. I wouldn't be surprised if I started crying at some point now. And then Gamora goes back to the Ravagers, and they're all fucking happy to see her. They're hugging. They're just like, yo, welcome home. And it's so fucking sweet. And I want to see if I have anything else to say before I get to my big point. Just let me check. I don't. Okay. I feel like my big point is this. This might be my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie just because of the ending. I love the first one. I love the second one. Overall, they are far more fun movies than this one. This has a very somber tone throughout a lot of it. Rocket Raccoon is not interacting with the majority of the cast throughout most of the movie. The Gamora you have, excuse me, it's not the same Gamora. You have a lot of really awkward scenes of Star-Lord and her that either work or they don't. For me, they kind of work and don't at the exact same time, which is weird. And even like the comedy bits, I can easily see someone going, this does not work. This bit died immediately. And here I am going, I don't care. I'm fucking laughing. I can see someone not getting into the villain, but he really worked for me. Like, I can't say it's a mixed bag for me because the elements that I can see being contentious hit. But I get why someone would be more mixed on it. I get why someone wouldn't like it. But that last scene with this song that is so fucking fitting. And everyone just understanding that hit me really hard. Again, I didn't cry. I'm not crying now. But I got close. I got close a few minutes ago, too. It's a perfect fucking ending to Guardians of the Galaxy. And from what I understand, it is. Now, in the, like, super end credits, there is a, like, the legendary Star-Lord will return. So, Star-Lord will be in another movie, whether that is Guardians 4, whether that is just a Star-Lord solo adventure or some other shit. There is a new Guardians group of Rocket, Groot. I don't remember his name, but he's the one Ravager, the guy that got Yondu's mohawk and his arrow. Like, he does appear throughout the movie. I can't remember his name, but to me, he's James Gunn's brother. I want to say his name is Simon. I want to say Simon Gunn. To me, he looks like a younger Aaron Rodgers. It's like there's something about like the grizzled face and like the eyes especially. Like, this dude just looks like Aaron Rodgers. This is fucking weird to me. But it's him, one of the kids, the dog, and Adam Warlock are the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, there could be a Guardians 4, which is about this group in particular. But a whole, like a Guardians 4 being like a big reunion of everybody, I just don't see that happening. I would not be upset if it did, because of how much I genuinely love these characters. But this feels like such a strong send-off that I don't really want Guardians 4. So, that's really my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I loved it. I loved what they were doing with it. I like that it was able to have a more somber tone, but still be funny as fuck. And have had just a really strong ending. So, that's it. If you've seen it, I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I feel like I can get why. But yeah, I guess that's it.